Hello guys, welcome to Sync in English, and today we are going to discuss about certain traditional theoretical perspectives in which we have seen that in the social psychology, where we have observed there are social psychological theories are put forth, and we have discussed about people psychology, mass psychology, and theory of instincts of social behavior. And even we have seen how that deemed to change as well. And today we will try to see certain theories which has emerged right from behavioral perspective to the humanistic perspective. So from the major traditional theoretical perspectives can be as follows, like behavioral, cognitive, biological, cross-cultural, and evolutionary perspective, and finally humanistic perspective. So humanistic perspective is what right now we are using when we talk about these theoretical perspectives of social psychology. So in that we will try to understand very important concepts like cognitive dissonance. So what exactly cognitive dissonance for that matter? So cognitive dissonance for that matter is actually used to describe the feelings of discomfort that arises when one's beliefs or against their one's behavior or new information that is actually coming or consuming. So it means that you can see here a very clear diagram. So cognitive dissonance given by line Festinger in 1957. So cognitive dissonance, it is a conflict. A human has a conflict between their own beliefs and their own behavior. So always we try to adjust within the range of this conflicts. So it even refers to situation involving conflicting attitudes, beliefs, or behaviors. So you can see here the conflict is that either they haven't, for example, I'm a smoker, smoking causes cancer. So there is a conflict in information. So here the seek out new information, reducing the health concerns. So we will try to seek out, or either we use reduced strategies. We have choice here. Either we can use this, cognitive dissonance for our own good by actually picking our choice, choosing to be reducing strategies to reduce the conflict or to lighten the conflict, or by coping up with new reducing health concerns. Still the health concern is there, but it is reducing effect. But in this, it is completely reduction strategy. So this is what overall conflict would look like. So so in his book, Festinger explained that cognitive dissonance can be seen in an antecedent condition which leads to an activity oriented towards dissonance reduction, just as hunger leads towards an activity oriented towards hunger reduction. So there would be a dissonance, and from towards that dissonance there would be certain activity would be derived. And just like example of being hungry, and then there would be an action towards towards hunger reduction. So always the conflict, the dissonance would be there, and the dissonance, the conflict, if however the conflict is there, it tries to reduce the conflict. So we try to reduce the conflict. So there are certain social perceptions theories put forth, in which the social perception, which actually refers to the ability to make certain accurate, interpretations and inferences about other people. So about other people from their general physical appearance, verbal and non-verbal patterns of the communication. So either we try to look into the verbal patterns or non-verbal cues or gestures, right? This is something which we call it as social perception. So within which there is non-verbal communication, attribution, and Kelly's theory of casual attribution. At the same time, we have impression formation, etc. So these are all social perceptions in which we'll try to understand more of attribution theory, which is very quite important for UGC is concerned. So what is attribution? So attribution is something in social psychology is a process of inferring the cause of events or behaviors in real life. So in the real life, there are certain behaviors and actions which we attribute to something we all do every day. So usually without any awareness of underlying processes and biases that led to our inferences. So we'll try to attribute to something which we daily do. For example, these attributions can be of either internal attribution or external attribution. Let's take example. So it is something within the person we observe, that is personality, that is internal attribution. So we attribute to internal, right? And we make an dispositional attribution. But if we try to take situation into as an external attribution, for example, it is caused by something outside the person we observe, then that is their situation. Then it is called external attribution. In this external attribution, where we make situational attribution. So we blame situations, or we give credit to situation, or sometimes we blame us, or we give credit to us. So we need to observe our own biases regarding this perception. So for example, if you see here, there is a concept called causality, locus of causality, where exactly the attribution was being stated. Either it is internal or external, and based upon stability, where the elements are stable or unstable. For example, if someone is saying that it's stable internal, then they attribute the success as their ability. Or if it is completely situational or external, they attribute that is something which is coming from the situation. So the difficulty is the task difficulty. Or else, for example, if they are attributing to self and which is unstable form, stability, then they attribute to self, and they expect their efforts to be increased. Or if the work has happened, right, and there is no stability, there is an unstable form, and they attributed to a something external, then it is pure luck. So this is how attribution theory works. It is Wiener's attribution theory, where how we perceive the social situations, and how we perceive difficulty of tasks or something which we do in everyday life. So for example, take this example. For example, stability. I won today because, so this is winning example. And losing example, I lost because I am not good enough, or they were too good. So this is attributed to self actually. So either self, I won today because we explain our personality traits or something else, or we put forth, I lost because I am not good enough, or they were too good. So we are trying to put forth to the situational thing, external. So causality is something which I won today because, so we explain, and I lost because. So we explain so these are all the statements that we give casually, but it has so much of internal attribution towards the statements as well, which we usually ignore. So how we explain our winning and losing would gives us a lot of insight on how exactly a person sees themselves in an winning or losing situation, and overall in society. So these are the few theories, and one more aspect is perception is attitude. So according to certain psychologists, the attitude is something which we, it's a tendency, learned tendency to evaluate things in certain way. So how we evaluate certain things itself is gives us an attitude towards something. And this attitude would have three important components. One is cognitive, another one is affective, another one is behavioral components. So with using these components, where based upon the context, the attitude would actually even differ. So this is one of the theories, and the other one is pro-social behavior. So what is pro-social behavior for that matter? So pro-social behavior is something which refers to the voluntary actions that are intended to help or benefit another individual or group of individuals. So this is pro-social behavior or pro-social attitude towards others. So where we try to explain, different, different situations, like either they are egoistically motivated or altruistically motivated. So altruism or egotism, which comes here, where whether they are on what basis they are motivated to help others, pro-social also evaluates here. So with this, we have completed, the part 2 of the, social psychology syllabus. Part 2 of traditional theoretical perspectives, and in next video we'll try to talk about social perception. Within we will talk about group and social influence. We talked about even social perception theories like attribution, etc. So three of the subunits were completed, and we will try to explain group and social influence in the next coming video. Thank you for your patience and listening to this video. Thank you.